Who is the best center of all time? Is it Kevin Willis? Is it Moses Malone? They both played for the Atlanta Hawks. Moses Malone actually could be in the debate. Kevin Willis, I used to like him, but I used to like the Hawks too. I still like the Hawks. Just hadn't had much to follow in a long time. I've followed LeBron James, and I've studied Jordan. I've studied who's the greatest players of all time, the goats. And there's a lot to study to really try to get accurate on that. But can we really know who the best ones are 100% certainty of all time are? There's too many variables. I don't go for who won the most championships because that takes a team to win the championship. So, for instance, Wilt Chamberlain, I think, is number one. Probably number one. I can't say 100% sure because if he was on the most competitive teams, then how did he do as a winner? Would he always win like Bill Russell did? But Bill Russell was on a good team. But we know Bill Russell had a good attitude, a good winning philosophy and drive. People know that Kareem has some fight in him. They'll argue that David Robinson didn't. But I'll give you a list real quick before it gets too deep into this. I'll say right now I have Wilt Chamberlain number one. I have Hakeem Olajuwon number two. I have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number three, not solidly. And I can go back and forth with both Hakeem and Kareem because I think there is a lot of bias, especially when it comes to David Robinson. Shaquille O'Neal lied for 15, 20 years about David Robinson, and I think maybe that's the reason they didn't give David Robinson his due credit. He lied about David Robinson not giving him an autograph when he was young. And they would think, oh, and he acts like such a nice guy. What a hypocrite. And the media gets biased, and they'll do that stuff. Like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar right now. He's getting older, and we hope he doesn't die anytime soon, but they're maybe thinking maybe he's going to die soon. We want to make sure he gets his proper credit. So the truth to me about one of the reasons Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was underrated is because when his prime, he wasn't playing against top centers. He played against some top centers at the beginning of his career, and he played against some in the middle, toward the end of his career, when Hakeem Olajuwon came along. But who was he playing in the middle? But that's not the main reason. The main reason I think he gets underrated is because Magic Johnson. I remember always looking forward to hearing about the Showtime Lakers, Magic Johnson. We were all watching Magic Johnson, and he kind of overshadowed Kareem. Kareem wore glasses, and sometimes that, to a lot of people, makes you seem less athletic. But we didn't have this big matchup, Kareem against Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem against Bill Russell. We didn't have Kareem against David Robinson. We didn't have Kareem against Hakeem Olajuwon. So we didn't have Kareem against Shaq in his prime. So they didn't make a big deal about that. But what Kareem did prove, and LeBron has proven too, is that they were a top player, debatably the best player, among the best top 5 players, 2 players, 3 players sometimes, in the league for 3 eras. So when you say he couldn't play in that back then, he couldn't play, they did it. Especially Kareem. He played while Wilt Chamberlain was still playing when Kareem came along. So was Bill Russell. And then Kareem was still playing when Shaq came along. For a little bit of time, I think. I don't remember exactly, but he was definitely playing when Hakeem Olajuwon came along. He was playing when David Robinson came along. So David Robinson and Kareem, to me, are comparable players, but David Robinson's more athletic than Kareem, in my view. From what I understand, we'll say. David Robinson's underrated. They're both two-way players. Bill Russell is a great defensive player, great passer on offense. And the one reason I can't put Bill Russell all the way at the top, and a lot of people don't, but they want to, is because he was maybe the greatest defensive player of all time. He's right there, except for in the defensive ratings, which they didn't have back then. The computer does those. He was the best quarterback from after the rebound. A lot of times he played that, and he did score okay. He just didn't score a lot. So, David Robinson and Kareem both were balanced. They were balanced players that were good on defense and offense scoring. So you got Wilt Chamberlain, who is just a superpower. All right. And then you have Shaquille O'Neal, who scored well on offense and was a good defensive player. The knock on him was he didn't stay. He wasn't in as good a shape as he could have been. He didn't stay in shape, but he'll say, and it's true, that he always came around though full power when it comes playoff time. And so, who am I leaving out? Hakeem Olajuwon plays defense and offense, and he's a defensive power. And believe it or not, David Robinson and Tim Duncan, who could play center too, both have the best ratings in history for all-time players. They have the best defensive ratings in history according to the computer. And I trust the computer, basing it on it's not bias. It's based on a certain formula, but it's not bias. And guess who else was a good defensive player? Larry Bird, according to the computer, that has a formula for defensive ratings. All right, so here's my rating right now, and I can still change it around, but you could say, so Wilt Chamberlain wasn't on very good teams, but he still won 2 championships. But I'm going to say Wilt Chamberlain, number 1. Number 2, I'm going to say Hakeem Olajuwon. And there's reasons I can say that pretty confidently. And then I could debate, should I put Shaq there? Can Shaq compete with him? Can David Robinson compete with him? Forget the bias. David Robinson was good. He scored 71 in one game, by the way. And they never talk about that. He had a 70-point game or 71-point game. It was when David Robinson came back from injury his last year. He was old. He came back from injury. The year before, he was out with injury at some point. He came back from injury. Him and Tim Duncan are the ones that knocked Shaquille and Kobe and Shaquille O'Neal off. Shaquille O'Neal played with Kobe, by the way. I mean, who did Wilt Chamberlain play with? Who did Hakeem Olajuwon finally got to play with Clyde Drexler, and then he wins 2. Now, Jordan was gone that year, but they would have given Jordan, they might not have won, because that was when Hakeem Olajuwon was with Clyde Drexler. There's a chance they wouldn't have won. I mean, even the championships Jordan won, some of them were tight with Indiana. I used to be scared of Reggie, what's his name? Reggie Miller. Not Reggie White's a football player. But Reggie Miller had me scared. I was pulling for Jordan back then, and Reggie Miller scared me. I was thinking, somebody guard Miller, get him, stop him. He keeps hitting these baskets, Crazy shots. Wild shots, tough shots. So they had some close games. But that's not Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon on the same team. That's Reggie Miller's team. He had some good players. I don't remember them all. I'd have to look it up to refresh my memory. But LeBron James played against Golden State. But so I'm not going to get into Jordan didn't play the toughest teams. He played tough teams. But I don't know if they're as tough as Hakeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler. But who knows? We don't know. We'll never know. So my ranking is Wilt Chamberlain, number 1, Hakeem Olajuwon, number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He definitely stayed good for the longest period of time, but I'm rating these guys by their prime. All right. And this is my basic view. I could have confidence in when people start saying, you don't know this. I could put David Robinson right in there too. To me, David Robinson and Kareem are similar players because they're both good two-way players. But David Robinson edges him out on defense, according to the ratings. So, and some would say, well, he's not aggressive enough. Well, how did he get such a good defense? Come on. But they like Tim Duncan because he was a calm player, calm, cool, and collective, and level-headed, and made all the fundamentals right. Did all the fundamentals right. But David Robinson, you don't like because he was calm, cool, and collective. There's bias there. And maybe because of Shaq lying, maybe because they didn't like him because he's Christian. I've thought maybe they promoted Kareem and Hakeem more at times because they were Muslim and not Christian. The NBA is very biased like that. So they want to admit that Donald Trump, most of them, won't admit that he's a good businessman just because they don't like his politics. And now I don't like LeBron James's politics, but I admit that he's a good basketball player. He's my favorite basketball player in recent times. Okay, but I disagree with him on politics, and I think he's prejudiced in that way. So because he won't admit that Trump's a good businessman, right? So I got for now. I got uh, Wilt Chamberlain. I got number 2, Hakeem Olajuwon. I do think his defense is just that much better than other players than Kareem, I think. And Kareem's great. He's a good defensive player. And so I'll say the other point on this. There's more competition at center for who's the best than there is at perimeter, Michael Jordan's position. You got Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, Clyde Drexler, Dwayne Wade, Jerry West. And we don't know Jerry West that well. I need to study him more because we just we've taken him out of the argument. All we talk about is Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bryant. But the truth about Kobe Bryant is his shooting percentage isn't as good as these other guys. And it's because he would shoot anywhere. He'd shoot more than other players, and he could make it from anywhere. But that hurt his shooting percentage some. And I value the shooting percentage counts for a lot because missing shots matters. It hurts the team to miss shots. So he didn't miss a lot. His shooting percentage was not bad. It was good. It just wasn't what Larry Bird's was. It wasn't what Michael Jordan's is. It wasn't what LeBron James is. It wasn't what Kevin Durant's is. And so I have Kevin Durant in my All-Star team, by the way. But you have I got Larry Bird. I got Kevin Durant. I got Magic Johnson. I've learned more about Magic recently. Magic Johnson was said not to be great on defense, but he's in the leading steals of all time list. How do you be one of the best, have the most steals of all time, and not be good on defense? Come on now. You say he's slow? He's not slow. He might not be as fast as let's see, Michael Johnson or who? I forgot the guy's name. My brain's terrible. The guy from Jamaica. How do I forget his name? Not Asafa Powell. He's fast too. Anyway, I guess I really have to study my players before I remember stuff. But I'm not going to try to remember. I can definitely remember them, but I'm not going to try. I got to finish this. So you got Usain Bolt. All right, so I had to do it. Usain Bolt. Magic Johnson's not as fast as Usain Bolt. And Michael Jordan's almost that fast. He is probably almost that fast. Not, he'd be further behind than you think on a 100-meter probably. But Michael Jordan is very fast. Just because Magic Johnson's not as fast as Michael Jordan doesn't make him slow. All right? He's fast. All right, so it's for size especially. So you have, and same with Larry Bird. He's not slow. He's not as fast as, Dwayne Wade? But he's not slow. He's not as slow as Kevin Garnett. No offense to Mr. Garnett. But Mr. Garnett's a good player, though, for the post. He's fast enough for the post. And I don't know that he's even that slow. But to me, sometimes he looked kind of slow moving in comparison to Hakeem Olajuwon, for instance. So the Kareem looks slow compared to Hakeem Olajuwon to me, right? Wilt Chamberlain's fast. Bill Russell is fast. So the reason I don't rate Bill Russell as high, and I didn't finish my list, sorry. I'm just going to go ahead and do that, I guess. Bill Russell, he wasn't the shooter. I mean, you got Shaq out there. You got David Robinson out there. You got every other player I'm mentioning. They're scoring lots of points on offense. And Bill Russell doesn't score a lot on offense. He scores pretty good, though. I mean, he'll score 18 to 24 usually. But these other guys will score 30-something, 40-something, 50-something, sometimes 60s, And so that's the only knock on Bill Russell. And could he score, though? I don't know if he was potentially a great scorer. But he focused on defense, and he was a great passer. So I got number 1, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 2, Hakeem Olajuwon. Number 3, I went ahead and put Kareem because maybe he did have a little more fight in him than David Robinson. He played more years to prove himself longer. David Robinson was in the military and got a late start. So I don't believe all the stuff they say. They always talk about Tim Duncan, but never David Robinson. But part of the reason Tim Duncan had these championships was because of David Robinson. But he also won without David Robinson, too. But he had some other players by then, right? So they drew players to their team. And let's see. So you got, you could almost put Tim Duncan at center, and then that would change the thing. He's built like a center. He plays like a center. But he's played power forward mostly. So I got Wilt Chamberlain, Hakeem Olajuwon, and this is a different order than I usually go. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and I'm going to say David Robinson, and you could say David Robinson or Shaq right there. And I'm gonna put Hakeem over Shaq. I'm gonna solidify. I think I like Hakeem over Shaq, but they're good at different things. I mean, there's things you can't stop Shaq on scoring pretty much. You can't stop Hakeem either, but Hakeem had to do a lot more work than Shaq. I mean, but with Shaq, you got to move out of the way. Not sure if that's fair or not, but you got to put Shaq. And the other person that edges out Shaq for that style, and they don't play the same style, but he has the ability to run you over, is my number one player, Wilt Chamberlain. And I debate putting Wilt Chamberlain in front of Michael Jordan, but even though he doesn't have that killer instinct the same way. But they call it killer instinct. I call it winning instinct, winning heart, that diehard winning heart. It's a team sport though. So then I got probably Shaquille and then Bill Russell. And it's hard to put Shaquille in front of Bill Russell because Bill Russell's so disciplined and Shaquille wasn't consistent. I wouldn't say he's not disciplined, but I'd say he wasn't consistently disciplined. Neither am I. But with food, part of it was food. He got on Kobe Bryant's nerves because he would carry a Big Mac into the locker room right before the game and he'd be eating the Big Mac. And that made Kobe didn't like that. And Shaq was overweight, so he shouldn't like it. At the time, he was overweight, I guess. So, but I got to put Shaq. I mean, and I got to say it's question mark. Shaq, let's see. If I could watch Shaq only in the playoffs, maybe he goes up the list. But we're kind of going by his reputation. The fact that his style, he's probably not as quick as Wilt Chamberlain. He's probably not as quick as David Robinson. But what I like about David Robinson, even over Kareem, is he would shoot more outside shots. Now, Kareem could do that too, but and Shaq didn't shoot. He has a pretty good outside shot, but not jumpers. I wouldn't say he has a lot of jumpers, but he had some hook shots and different things. And floaters, he could do some pretty good stuff, really, not just slam it in there. Then you had Bill Russell. The reason I put Bill Russell at the bottom is because of offense, and it's just hard that because he won so much, and he has other offensive features like the passing skills and quarterbacking from on the fast break, and he would get so many rebounds and do the fast breaks and try to have the team running and out and running teams to death. He was the one that manned that. He's the one that pushed for that. And really, you need the center to push for it because they're the ones getting the rebounds mostly. So, but because he didn't score a lot, he scored fine, but not a lot. Plenty, but not a lot. That's why I put him at the bottom. But he could easily go near the top too. He could go, let's say, after Kareem, or he could go. So I had Kareem at number 3 and Hakeem Olajuwon number 2 and Wilt Chamberlain number 1. Now, some people could say, well, Wilt Chamberlain just didn't have that winning instinct and put him lower. But he definitely had the talent. He had the most talent by far. He did win 2 championships, and as far as I know, that wasn't even on good teams, very good teams. I could study that more. Maybe I will in the future. But so I got Wilt Chamberlain. I want to repeat it. Wilt Chamberlain. Maybe I should have listed it at the beginning. Wilt Chamberlain, number 1. Brain dead. I've had too much coffee. Sorry. And the last few days, too much caffeine, and now I'm off it, and I'm going through withdrawal, kind of small headache, not no pressure. I don't have a headache yet, but it hurts my memory. But Wilt Chamberlain's number 1, Hakeem Olajuwon number 2, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number 3. Now, if you're talking about for the whole career, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the best career. Except he'll say Bill Russell has the best career, and he does as far as wins go. But Kareem has the most consistent career for many years, played in more than one era, proved himself in more than one era to be the top player in each era, and he has the best college career. Overall, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the best career. I'm talking about at the peaks of their career. I'm taking Wilt Chamberlain, and I'm taking Hakeem Olajuwon, and I might take David Robinson because he could shoot 3-pointers. I think they didn't do it back then, but he's a guy that could shoot 3-pointers, in my view. So I like that he stretches the floor. I've seen him dribble down the court like a point guard before, too. So I like David Robinson, and that's why I like him over Shaquille. I like Shaquille. I say Shaquille, the most unstoppable player in the paint is Shaquille and Wilt and even Kareem because of his hook shot, though, not because of his power shots. But he can do both. He can do the power and the hook shot, but power slams and stuff. But I'd say Kareem. They're all pretty unstoppable in the paint. Hakeem Olajuwon's unstoppable, and so is Shaquille. And the sense of unstoppable, you'd look at those two and Wilt when you just think of the sense of them being unstoppable. But David Robinson's pretty unstoppable too, and so is Kareem. So it's a tough call. It's not like the Jordan LeBron debate. You got 5 guys here you can debate about. 4 guys. So it might have been 6. 1, 2, 3. Anyway, and then there's a couple players I've even left out. But we're not going to go into that. Moses Malone, he was really good. But I'm going to end this because I just don't want to get much longer than that. And that's all I have to say, I guess. I realized some things about LeBron, some new things, and comparing Kareem and LeBron. But both, I'll say this, Kareem and LeBron, I saw an article about Kareem, and everybody's promoting Kareem right now. I'm just like, I can't definitively put him in front of Hakeem Olajuwon in their prime. So that's similar to LeBron and Jordan debate, that you can't definitively put LeBron in front of Jordan in his prime and the primes. It's hard to do it, but LeBron has a better consistent career all the way through. Not career as in wins, but career as in being consistently at the top with statistics for the longest period of time. And so Kareem has the longest, statistically is the best for the longest period of time, but Hakeem was the best at his prime. And by the way, Hakeem came into the league as a soccer player, not a basketball player. He had a learning curve. But anyhow, so I'd say at their prime, at their climax, I'd take Hakeem Olajuwon, and I'd take still Wilt Chamberlain, and I might take David Robinson because of his outside shooting. So I still like, and I hate not having Bill Russell, and I hate not having Shaq on my team, and I hate not having, all the Kareem or whatever option I left off. But so LeBron, though, I leave Kobe off of that debate. I better quit, and I'll do that on another video. So I'm wanting to talk about LeBron, Kobe, Clyde Drexler, who gets left off, and I may talk about that at some point. But it's Wilt Chamberlain, number 1. Hakeem Olajuwon, number 2. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, number 3. David Robinson, number 4. Shaquille O'Neal, number 5. And Bill Russell, number 6. That's where I stand at this point. I could change it.